I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurrundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, welcome to my January 2023 TBR. This is going to be a super simple TBR. I'm not setting hard and fast guidelines, mostly because I'm participating in a reading challenge for the first 3 months of the year, which I'll talk about in a moment. I do have some new releases. There will probably be some review copies that I'm going to be reading, but I just don't know what they're going to be yet because I haven't received them. Some buddy reads, some read-alongs, and then my reading challenge. In terms of new and review copy books, I really only have new releases that I'm going to keep an eye on. The first one is Maniac by Onley James, which is the final book in the Necessary Evil series. You better believe I will be reading that the second I get it in my hands. I am so excited for this final book. It is Thomas and Aidan's story. I am just hanging out for it and it will be read immediately. I'm also really excited about Catherine Cowell's new book, which is the start of a new series, and the first book is called Whispers of You. I have signed up for a review copy, but even if I don't receive that, I will be planning on picking it up anyway. In terms of buddy reads, book clubs and read-alongs and things like that, I will undoubtedly have an Alexis Hall book that I'm reading with Bree from In Love and Words. It may be Waiting for the Flood. It may be a different book. I don't know if we're going to read Waiting for the Flood before the end of the year. If not, it'll probably be the first one that we read because we agreed that we were going to read that one next. I am also going to be starting the Innkeeper Chronicles series for the read-along that Heather, Megan, Izzy and I are co-hosting together. So I'll be reading at least Clean Sweep and possibly reading it twice, once in physical form and once listening to it as an audio play. So that may come up a couple of times. And also the newest book in the Kate Daniels world, Magic Tides, is coming out as well in the middle of January. So I will also be reading that because Heather, Megan and I will also be reading that to then talk about it as part of our Kate Daniels read along, which we concluded earlier last year before we started Hidden Legacies, but we're going to come back because we're getting a surprise Kate Daniels book and I am so excited about it. And then the rest of the month, I'm basically going to dedicate to either mood reading or to the Read What You Own challenge hosted by Izzy and Shae. I'm going to leave both their channels and their videos for this reading challenge linked down below because they're going to explain it better than I can. And I'm kind of making up some of my own rules for this, which is totally fine. It is essentially a 3-month-long challenge to read the books that you own and to not to say that you're going on a book buying ban, but to set yourself some realistic expectations around what you read and then how much more you bring in. So to that end, the way that I'm setting this up for myself so that I feel successful is I am going to be tracking my physical books and my Kindle Unlimited titles because my physical TBR blew out this year because of the Books Insight Melbourne event that I went to, and then I went a little bit nuts. And my KU TBR, I just like to keep that moving because I always have 20 books and I want to make sure that I'm getting through them. So I'm going to start with the physical TBR. I need to work out how many books I have in total. I'll put a number on the screen. Some of them are for various reading challenges. So there's some that I'm not quite as worried about them sitting there for a little bit longer because it's going to take me a while to get to them for the project that I'm doing. But some of them I definitely want to get to, especially anything by authors who are attending Rare in April. So that's going to be my first priority, is reading any physical books by authors attending Rare. That's going to happen. Then I can pick and choose from books there. And I think I'm going to go back to something I used to do years ago, which is look at the books that have been sitting there the longest and try and get through them as quickly as I can. In terms of my KU TBR, again, I'm going to prioritize any authors who are attending Rare so I can get a few more of those books read in there as well. And for my KU TBR, I have to read at least 5 KU titles before I can borrow out one more book. So this should hopefully reduce it down so I'm not having 20 books sitting there and just force me to prioritize reading some of those books. I am still allowed to purchase books. However, I'm only going to be purchasing books that I have read and loved for my shelves, which will include things like Maniac when the physical copy of that comes out because I already know that I'm going to love that story and I've collected the series so far. I'm also not going to penalize myself for the fact that I might receive books as gifts or things like that because that's just a thing that happens. So I will actually have a separate video where I go through my TBR cart and you can see the physical books that I own. I'm going to have that as a separate video to this one, but basically know that the majority of my reading in January is either going to be from my KU TBR, but I'm still leaving some room to mood read other things that I have on my Kindle because I do have a lot of books on my Kindle. That does not stress me out as much as the physical books sitting there needing to find their home on my shelves. This is just the way that my brain has structured this reading challenge, and hopefully that is enough incentive for me to read them. It has been in the past, so fingers crossed. In the comments, I would love to know what you are planning on reading in January. Feel free to let me know down below. Otherwise, feel free to leave any kind of magic emoji down below now that we're getting a new Kate Daniels book, because yay, so excited. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.